The countdown is on. We are almost ready for Christmas, and what makes Christmas morning even better if you're in a colder climate anyway? It's, of course, snow. What's going on, guys? I'm certified meteorologist Jonathan Kagas. In this video, we are going to talk about who has the best potential to wake up to snow on Christmas morning. And then later on in the video, if you want the meteorology behind why I think what I think in terms of that white Christmas, stick around for that. Of course, I won't leave you hanging in terms of keeping you around to show you the white Christmas or not. First and foremost, if you want to stay updated on the weather, you come to the right place. Hit that subscribe button for me if you find this content helpful. And if you want a white Christmas, post that in the comments below. Hit that thumbs up button as well. All right, first and foremost, there is an actual meteorological definition of a white Christmas, and that would be 1 inch of snow on the ground or falling on Christmas morning. So there is a set definition for climatological records, but we will take what we can get, and I think that's especially going to be true this year. Unfortunately, this one is going to be ruled by the heat miser. This one here, temperature outlook by the Climate Prediction Center, you see all of that red. That is not a good recipe for snow, of course. The main ingredient you need for snow is the cold, and there's not going to be much of it relative to normal. You see that big bullseye over the upper Midwest where we typically have white Christmases, at least the highest opportunity for it. We are completely on the warm side. I'm going to show you the upper level pattern in just 1 second, but I want to show you right now who has the best opportunity again for snow on Christmas morning. Again, this is the forecast model going out to December 25th, that snow depth here. The highest chance is literally going to be tied to the western side of the country in the highest elevation. So the Sierra Nevadas, the highest elevations in and around Denver, Colorado, in the mountains. Of course, the mountains of Utah, into Idaho, into Montana. There is a little bit of a signal for a pre-Christmas system to bring us a little bit of snow in the Dakotas. You see the different colors here represent the forecast confidence in terms of will we have snow on the ground Christmas morning. So we are starting to get at least a little bit higher confidence in the western Dakotas for that system to develop. I'll show you how that comes together or potentially comes together. But look at the areas in Minnesota. We normally have a greater than 90% shot for snow on Christmas. We'll take a look at climatology as well in a second, but we are in that just a slight opportunity in the arrowhead of Minnesota towards the Iron Range. Upper New England into Maine, Vermont, higher elevations especially, we're looking pretty good still for a white Christmas into northern Maine, northern Vermont, upstate New York, into northern New Hampshire. I think the bigger cities like New York City, we're missing out. Pittsburgh, Philly, Boston, maybe a slight chance for just a little bit of snow on the back end of a bigger system. But look at this, a big donut hole right on through the nation's midsection in terms of that white Christmas potential. I mentioned earlier kind of the difference between these two maps here. This is what we typically see. This is a historical or climatological look here, and anywhere in that light pink color from northwest of Detroit into southern Minnesota, this is where we have a greater than 60% shot for a white Christmas. And I think most of us, even in a high probability area, are unfortunately going to miss out on that white Christmas. We're going to fast forward into the upper level pattern now. This is all the way through Wednesday, December 20th. This is where we're going to start things off. And I mentioned before how we're going to have a shot to get some extra snow in the western Dakotas. That's really our best opportunity for the lowest elevations across the entire United States. It's going to be because of this big dip in the jet stream here. So some inclement weather. Look at the time frame here. That's December 20th. That's a nice big upper low ready to roll on the coast of California. Remember these two words, El Nino. Keep that in the back of your mind. I guess that's the side of your mind. Nonetheless, we're going to talk about this pattern and why we're so warm, but nonetheless, that's another big system sliding through here. Now, what typically happens if you're in the plains, parts of the upper Midwest in this area, to get a good snowstorm, this is where you want the upper low to kind of come on shore, right through here, and then they can bend and then give nice big amount of snow on the northwest side. So that's what you like to see. Again, note the time frame. That's December 23rd. We are cutting it close, but I'm telling you there's a chance in parts of the northern plains and upper Midwest if that can come together, and that's a big if at this point, just because there's going to be such limited cold air One of the reasons for this limited cold air is El Nino. We've talked about this at length on this channel. If you need a refresher, again, basically what El Nino is, typically we're pushing all that warm water back out toward Australia. When the trade wind, that's from the trade winds, by the way, when the trade winds weaken, that water kind of retreats back into the equatorial regions of South America, and it changes the weather pattern. Even in the United States, we have extra convection, extra thunderstorm activity out over here, and those patterns influence the weather, believe it or not, in the United States. So let me get my telestration out of the way, and this is a typical El Nino pattern. You saw that storm system coming on shore in the Pacific. We've had things wet over the past couple of weeks in the south, in the southern plains, southeast. This is a typical El Nino. So again, we would expect anyway, given the El Nino pattern that we've gotten ourselves into, given the strength of this El Nino that continues to come on and will continue to strengthen through the winter, look at typically where we are warm. And again, cold as a whole is going to be dry, or is going to be hard to come by this Christmas season. Alrighty, guys, I'm keeping my fingers crossed for you. If you want the snow, we will be on it. If things look to significantly change, we will let you know, of course. They're going to be tracking the travel forecast over the next several days, several weeks, to get you to and from watching any big weather systems. But again, there's just not a lot of Arctic cold coming down the pipeline to help increase our white Christmas chances. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope everybody that is traveling for Christmas does so safely and doesn't have to deal with all that traffic. Those airports are crazy this time of the year as well. Thank you guys. We'll catch you next time.